And we're live. Welcome back to the Wanna Parlay podcast. I'm Lance Bell. Next to me is Jack Neuheisel. Jack, go ahead and tell the people about who sponsors this beautiful podcast.
This show, as always, is brought to you by the good people of Wanna Parlay, home of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay, where every day people are turning $2 into $2,000. Lance, we are just one day into our Wanna week, and our Wanna Warriors are already off to a hot start. As always, some special shout-outs to deliver today. Pick 4, Fats 312, back and at him. Love to see it from you, Fats. $200 going home with him. Pick 5, who else but Dialed Picks? This guy had himself a night last night, people. First and second in the pick 5. That's good enough for 475. Good to be good. The pick 6, D. Garibaldo. First time seeing D. Garibaldo, but I'm told he just withdrew $800 today, and he should have. He just won 500, so good to be D. Garibaldo. Hope to get him on the show next week. Pick 7, it's back with Dialed Picks, $777. I will have an up-to-date count on his money by Thursday, but we are rapidly approaching Lance. Newfoundland in his 30K club. He will be the one and only member. So when that happens, I'll have poppers, some booze. We'll sound the alarms and have some fun with it. And then Cicero Rocky, 3x9, wins 700 in the second place with the pick 7. Good to be good. Parlay Royale, Wills. First time seeing Wills get his name in the mix. $1,000. Return my text, Wills. But $1,000, good to be good. The main event, we're just one day into it, but Apex Bets getting off to an early lead and rocking a little strategy while he does it. He posted 3 of the same parlay last night. It all hits, obviously. He's currently making just a hair less than $3,000. It is only, though, a 38.15er. So this race is still wide open, people. Would be shocked to see another E-Lock situation where this goes wire to wire. Get your picks in, get yourself some 2K as you end out the football season and transfer into much cloudier times. A reminder before we start the show, next Monday we have the Drop Takeover at Little Joe's in Chicago. Wanna Parlay will be in the house with KG, Art, and Bob, as will the good folks of El Bandito Tequila. Come join us anytime you're around from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. We are very much looking forward to that. And without last but not least, we have a new contest open, the Super Bowl Drip Contest. It is 100% free to play. The winner of this contest is going to get an authentic NFL jersey of their choice, whatever player they'd like, a little custom situation there. That contest is open now until February 9th, which is, of course, Super Bowl Sunday. Once again, 100% free to play. Lance, that's all I got. Time to do the podcast, friend.
Yep. Time to do the podcast. First, we got to do accountability hour. Mine wasn't pretty. I went 1-3. I'm not proud of it.
It was a collective shitstorm last night, Lance. We went 2-5. We need a big bounce back night here.
Yeah, that was not great. Going back to my picks, though. Starting off with the one that won by half a point. Rockets lost by 6 to the Knicks. I honestly thought they were going to win the game. They were right there all game long. Then Jalen Brunson, those guys took care of business, but they covered. So that was huge.
I don't want to slow you down, but I've got comments on this game I've got to make. Number one, I'm glad you won because I got in the first quarter. When we stopped our show, this game had already tipped. I hadn't gotten the action yet. Raced over to get it, and I got plus 5.5. So I'm sitting here eating shit today. You hate to see it. And I'm with you. I watched the whole fourth quarter of this game. Tied at 112s. We're trading buckets. Amen Thompson is a legit dude.
Yeah.
That guy is
He's real. He's real.
That guy is outstanding. Once again, bad job, NBA. How do I not know more about this guy? But he's absolutely legit. Jalen Brunson on the night, we kind of got after him a little bit. Absolutely balls. Drops his first 40-10 game in that one, I think. And obviously the dagger 3 to put us down 4 and fuck the whole thing up. So congratulations to you, but just had to mention, I tailed it. Didn't take the number. Get burned by a point. Really stings.
Brutal stuff. Yeah, that's got to hurt. Because you're 100% right. I got in live because the show went late, and I got it at 7.5. So I had even the extra half point. I was just glad that the pick I gave out here covered as well. KG Lojo's in the chat talking to you, Jack. So listen up. Says happy Tuesday, gents. Jack, be on the lookout. Friday, you will have a special delivery in the mail from me, some Little Joe's swag mailed today. So, Jack, you're going to be swagged out, I guess, on that Monday show when it's KG's day. James Morris.
I've been dying for that perk package for some time now. I didn't have the heart to ask you for it. I'm not quite sure I even deserve it, but I am fucking fired up, man. I'm fired up. I will be wearing that everywhere and anywhere.
Let's go. We love it. Thank you, KG. And then James Morris, he's back. He says Chiefs win Sunday. He just comes in with business. No hello, no how are you. Chiefs win Sunday. Hey, we love it, James. I will say Thursday's our huge Super Bowl show. Today we're talking NBA. And I'm going to go on a little rant about the Laker, Luka, all that stuff, try to wrap my head around it. But let me continue on with the accountability hour. Yeah, I got my one win. So going on my next loss, I had Suns -4.5 at Trailblazers. Just a pathetic bunch, Jack. That was just tough shit. I mean, what are we doing? I was,
as you are. We know a lot of Suns fans. We have a lot of we got some family over there in the Valley of the Sun, so we know some people that really care about this team. And frankly, all these people are on watch right now. I'm calling, I'm checking in. I have a horrible feeling this is on blow up territory going into this Thursday. Fascinating after you get smoked by this Blazers team. Which, by the way, these Blazers are fun. But yeah, sorry you had to take it.
No, it was brutal. I mean, you've been calling it the Trailblazers fight. I mean, ever since you've made your statement about the Trailblazers, I'm pretty sure they're on a win streak, and I don't think that's wrong. Like, they have been just winning. They've been fighting.
And it's so often there's such a direct drop off between the teams that are vying for playoff spots and those not. They're just like occupying this weird territory where they're playing their asses off. They want this 10 seed desperately.
Yeah, no, and that's the tough part about the West is, Jack, the 11 seed is at 500 right now. The 11 seed in the West is the Warriors, and I think they're either at 500 or maybe a game or two below. The 12th seed Spurs are at like that 21 and 28 range, and the Trailblazers are right there, that 20, right where the Spurs are. The West is tough. The West is tough. Like, there's going to be a good player, or good players, a good team that's going to be left out of these playoffs, and it's going to be pretty shocking when we find out who. But I've been hearing KD to the Warriors again. You're hearing all the, but let's keep on with the accountability hour. Next one, T-Wolves -5.5 versus the Kings. Man, I will say, DeMar DeRozan's still a fucking premier scorer in this league, because he was drawing matchups from Jaden McDaniels, who's just a long, tough guard, and he's shooting over those in the mid-range. No problem.
I put it in the notes that just sports are weird. How do you lose your best player and get better that night? It's just sports are weird. Sometimes it's about fits and stuff like that. D'Angelo Russell throwing just a stray out the other night, taking a shot at the Lakers, saying he'll never take for granted playing this free again. Because obviously you have to accept a role playing on LeBron James's team. But I think that's what we saw last night for DeMar. It was like, all right, my ball, my fucking team tonight. And the guy hooped. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, he had a cold 33 and a lot of it just in the mid-range. I mean, the guy's a killer. The guy, when he scores, it just stings a little different. It's not like good pass, layup. Like, it's like, oh, wait, I played great defense and you just said over those. All right. But yeah, no. So Kings, T-Wolves, tough one. And you're 100% right. Sports are weird. But this Pistons Hawks one, I was just wrong. I was just flat out wrong. Trae Young just said, shut up. Just shut your mouth. Because I was saying.
You were down like an early 17.
Yeah.
And then you cut it to like 11 by the half. They got it close in the fourth. I thought you had a chance if you could just get on the upside of this. Maybe you get it done with some free throws late. And no, Pistons, I don't think ever took back over the lead. The Hawks kind of went in cruise control all the way to a outright win.
Yeah, it was brutal styling. Here, KG Lil Joe's comes in and he says, Cunningham was chucking bricks all game. Yeah, so, gotta be honest, I don't have the capability. I don't have the, I can't even watch Laker games in Southern California if you want to know how bad watching sports is in Southern California. But I was keeping just updated, kind of score checking, and honestly, I just never really had hope. So, yeah, 1-3, not great. Not great.
Tough.
I should have just went all dogs. If I went all dogs, I'm undefeated.
Yeah, we got to find our bounce back spot here. I think college hoops is going to be okay. I go 1-2 last night, though. We need a bounce back. 1-2. One of them, 1-1 in college hoops. I obviously lose the Orlando plus 3.5 at the Warriors. They get beat by 5. They were winning that game the whole first half and decided to choke it away. I got 2 shots at the buzzer to go perfect last night and go 3-0. Because I also lose in North Texas plus 2.5 at UAB, who gets beat by 3, lose by the half point. I had a chance at the 3-pointer to get me my money. No dice. Orlando had a huck-up shot with 10 seconds left from Cole Anthony to give me a chance. No dice. My only win is Kansas -2 versus Iowa State. That one was easy money. My only regret is not putting more on it. I'm having a hard time evaluating Big 12 basketball a little bit this year because I don't know. I'm not as educated on the difference in NIL budgets when it comes to basketball programs across the country. I'm pretty up to date on what each school is spending in football. So I get kind of a sense of where the hierarchy kind of remains. Big 12 basketball, Lance, fun fact, has been the top rated basketball conference for 9 of the last 11 years. It's a weird year where they added Arizona.
Yeah, I was going to say they added better teams. So
they should by all accounts be. But as I watch the Big 10 and SEC play, I just see a lot better basketball in my mind. So it's a weird spot. Kansas last night, you got Dickinson looking like Jokic, and when they play like that, everyone kind of finds their place and they look really good. But I don't think that Iowa State team's that good. They were 1 in the country for like a week this year, and they've lost, I think, 4 of their last 6.
They lost on that half-court heave from Caleb Love. That one was beautiful.
Which is brutal. So asterisk. So let's say they've lost 3.5 of their last 6.
But
still not what you want to be doing as we trend here to the last month of college basketball. So it'll be interesting to see if they get right. Going to keep eyes on Big 12 hoops, but college hoops, we got like 20 or so teams that I could really think they've got a chance to go win it all. And then we've got a lot of the SMUs of the world who are going to get into the tournament and just pay fucking spoiler. They got no chance to win a championship, but that's what March is. It's just we're going to get some guys in there to knock out some contenders.
Yeah, no, 100%. Hey, and I'm always rooting for SMU. KG Little Joe's real quick. Oh, just to double down on that Cunningham statement. He says, I'm sure you could have heard the bricks through the sound of the NBA app. That's hilarious. I guess that was a tough game for him. Brutal. All right. So there's our accountability. How did the assist guy do?
I'll look it up right now as you tee up the next segment. Because check our waiting room too real quick. See if any of these guys, I sent out the link just in case someone might be able to make it and their schedule changed.
So far, no one. No love.
No dice. You love it. All right. Well, tee up our next segment. I'll get Smerling covered here.
All right. So the next segment we got going on is basically my thoughts on the Luka Doncic, Mavericks, Lakers trade. And basically, because I'm going to read through the entire transaction, and then I'm just going to go through a lot of my thoughts. And Jack, feel free at any point, whenever you got a question, anything, just interrupt me.
100%. And real quick, Smerling did not hit last night. Only 4 boards for DeJuan Harris Jr. It was 6.5 was that number.
Oh, I thought it was assists.
Oh, was it assists? He only had 4 assists too.
Yeah, so he didn't hit it. He didn't hit it. All right. So the transaction we're talking about, the Dallas Mavericks received Max Christie, Anthony Davis, and the 2029 unprotected first-round pick from the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers received Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris from the Mavericks. The Utah Jazz as the third team that Danny Ainge ended up helping the Lakers secure a 25-year-old superstar, which he did not know about. I'll get into that in a little bit. The Utah Jazz received draft consideration from the Mavericks, which was a couple second-rounders, a Dallas one and a Clippers one, I believe. And also Jalen Hood-Schifino. Jalen Hood-Schifino, you will not be missed. I know you were a Laker, and I should love you, but I watched you in the G League because I went a couple of Stanley Johnson's games when he was on the Kings. Hood-Schifino does not belong in the NBA. I'm sorry. He's not an NBA talent. But
if I could on that point, and then you got great momentum, I'll let you go. Jalen Hood-Schifino, Rob Pelinka's only missed draft pick. The only other one you could consider would be Mo Wagner, who's actually having good 10 minutes right now at the Magic. So only missed draft pick was Jalen Hood-Schifino, and a young career. So
yeah,
I'm not going to miss him, but I wish him well.
Yeah, I wish him the best. You know, I don't pray on most people's downfall. But I will say, man, that hurt because there was Cam Whitmore and Brandon Podozemski right there for the taking, the 2 picks after Jalen Hood-Schifino. But it's okay. Yeah, not everyone's perfect. Rob Pelinka isn't, but right after this trade, he might be the closest definition to perfect. All right, so I've had a couple days. You know, we all have to think on this. And the only narrative in my head that makes sense is that this Dallas GM, Nico Harrison, it was an ego problem. He didn't like the fact that it was Luka's team. Nico didn't draft Luka, but he made the trades for Kyrie, Gafford, and Washington, that roster that made the run. I get it. The NBA is by far the most player-driven league of the major sports in America, especially with their superstars, because they always have a crew and a set of people around them looking out for their best interests, not the organizations. I get all that. But to justify trading a generational talent that, when active, is at worst the 4th best player in the league, that is just about to enter his prime in basketball at the age of 25 years old, who has taken your team to multiple conference championship appearances and even a finals appearance because of his weight and conditioning. We're talking about this year. What are we talking about? If this guy was Zion Williamson and he hadn't played the games, or it's Joel Embiid and he only plays half the games of his career, then you're talking. But Luka Doncic has proved himself. He's a bona fide superstar. And we're trading because of his weight and conditioning. Jack, listen to this. Active players with more first-team All-NBAs than 25-year-old Luka Doncic. Active players right now. And Luka Doncic has 5. LeBron James with 13, of course. Kevin Durant, 6. Harden, 6. Giannis, 6. There's the list.
No Jokic.
No Jokic. No Steph. None of those guys. 25-year-old superstar. Okay, so it's, this was Doncic's last season. Like, this was his season last year, if Nico forgot. Listen to this. He was the 2024 scoring title. He was first-team All-NBA. Western Conference champ, MVP. Through the playoffs, went down 0-1 to the Clippers in round 1. 1-6. Go look at the odds of teams that lose the first game in a series. Usually they end up losing the series. Regardless, went down 0-1 to the Clippers, 1-6. Then went down 0-1 to the top-seeded Thunder, 1-6. Then proceeded to jump to a commanding 3-0 lead over the Timberwolves. And you saw that play over Gobert. Everyone will remember it. I mean, that tween right over him from 35 feet out.
By Jamal Crawford. Yep. Awesome stuff.
I mean, so they do all that. Then they make the finals. Now, if you comparing the Mavericks team to that Celtics team, it was a complete and utter mismatch. I mean, Kyrie Irving had Drew Holiday locking him down. Drew Holiday, I believe, still is the best perimeter defender in the NBA. And the rest of the team had the assignment of Luka, how they switch off and how they do that. That's how they play defense. Kind of like a boxing one, but, they do what they do. Mm-hmm. And their problem was nobody could score. If you look at the field goal percentages of the Mavericks and even the Celtics, I mean, the Celtics weren't great offensively. They were just so good defensively. Mm-hmm. Nobody can score on the Mavericks. So looking at all that, I mean, and Brian Windhorst was a guy that came in and absolutely slandered Luka because of his defense and effort and all this stuff. And it's like, man, look at the rosters. I mean, this looked somewhat like young LeBron did in 2007 when he brought the Cavs and he faced the Spurs in the finals. Just a complete, utter mismatch. Like, it's not even... Now, I will say this Mavericks team was better than that Cavs team, but... arguments.
But fair thing, because it's a classic case of you way overachieved to get to the finals.
Yeah.
Now we're going to penalize you because you almost get swept in the finals. It's like to get there alone was like you went through 3 dragons and then you come up that short. We don't get to now just bump you to the bottom of the mountain. We still got to place it in its context.
100%. So he just simply outmatched. And, now if I think with all the excuses, the weight, the conditioning, there was people that they were moving the Mavs once Cuban gave up his power. There were other, they started moving off coaches that Luka liked. They started moving, when he lost Dorian Finney-Smith, I know that was a trade to Kyrie, but, he loves Dorian Finney-Smith for some reason. He was losing some of the guys and some of the stuff, and Nico saw the opportunity, I guess, with the injury. He's been out of the limelight. They have all the rumors and excuses to really go ahead and make this move.
So, two things happening here. One, I'm going to take the extremely hot take of, until proven wrong, I have respected this Mavs GM's ability to sit at the table and eat all the shit that he's had to eat right now. Because on paper, for this year, I really dig the newly assembled Mavericks. I think it works. You got AD down low, rim protecting the best. The fact that he's never won a Defensive Player of the Year award is an absolute joke. He's easily, in my opinion, the best defensive player in the league. And then you pair him with the high pick and roll with Kyrie. You got Klay Thompson on the perimeter, who actually still gives you great minutes on defense. Then you get PJ Williams, and you got two great fives. So Anthony Davis is always going to get to play the four. It's and I think it matches up really well against the teams they're going to have to go through in the West. And I think it matches up really well against the Celtics for if we get the rematch of that finals again. So on one hand here, I understand what they're going here, where it's like, how much can we be held hostage by Luka? And is the strategy for this kid's entire career going to be to reassemble the roster every year we don't win in hopes to provide greater role players and all that? Because, and you brought up Brian Windhorst. It's tough to hold Luka accountable because he's the only reason they were in the finals in the first place. But once in the finals, game 3 especially, he tanked the team. And that's when Brian Windhorst went crazy.
Yeah.
He fouls out with 4 minutes to go in a 1-possession game on just a horrible defensive effort. He's in no man's land. And then, and he's had his moments of yelling at the refs. And then this season, there appeared to be this weird unsaid thing of, we're going to refocus now. It's about the team. Luka, we need you to buy into this overall thing that we're building. They get rid of a lot of the guys that felt like kind of the classic Kawhi Leonard play of like, we're going to staff up our medical building and some of our player personnel guys with Luka homies, like the Spurs refuse to do and the Clippers have kind of done for Kawhi over the years. So it feels like they got sick of that. And then the nail in the coffin is Luka does his Achilles on the Mavs are unwilling to come out and say it, but they're also not willing to come out and say this wasn't the problem, which to me is pretty telling, is they held him accountable for the Achilles injury. Is you didn't take the recovery seriously. You probably missed some recovery sessions and stuff like that. Probably, gained a little bit of weight and all that stuff. And so they just got fed up with it. And I can see, I really can, from their perspective. Now, you're freaking you're accountable to the fans first and foremost. So the fact that you've done something that the entire fan base is fucking up in arms with, now you got to sit here and wear it. But I do see a world where this team was not going to get right with this current season of Luka, or at least the trajectory they were on. All of a sudden, they made this big Klay Thompson move that they're not going to get to see the end of. And by the time Klay Thompson's done, now you're going to have to rebuild this Mavericks team. And by that time, Kyrie's probably too old too. And you've been making the playoffs all these years, but you're not really contending. You're not getting draft picks. I could see how this becomes a little bit of a circus show for them. And I can really see how, if you're Nico, the GM, or if you're J-Kid, the coach, we're not going to be here by the time they win their championship. We'll get fired before that happens, as we're currently going. So I get their move here and the win now mentality. And I kind of respect the concept of, this isn't a move. This is an unpopular move and no one's going to get it. But it's like in Moneyball when they trade away Carlos Pena. And he goes, this is the move that gets GMs fired. He goes, does this make us better? He goes, yes. He goes, then what are we talking about? So on that hand, I do respect it. Now, let me put a big slash in that, Lance. There's the hot take. Now let me rejoin the rest of the NBA community. You did this in secret with Rob Pelinka. You did ask no other teams.
Yeah.
You brokered a deal that got no first round draft picks for the future. You've got
It got one. It got one.
You got one first round
Yeah.
draft pick 2029, but that's a Lakers Luka team. That's
Yeah.
enjoy having the 30th pick.
Yep.
You know, and then so that's just trade capital. That's all that is. That's not a pick. That's just trade capital.
Yeah.
Gobert gets you 4 first round picks. Now you got shit you can go do and pair up.
Mikal Bridges 5 first round picks.
Yeah, and this is where you sit there and go, conspiracies are hard to pull off. There's so much oversight required. More than likely, it's not what's taken place here. But as a guy who loves to just have fun and just go on fun little thought experiments, this feels like Adam Silver put his thumbs on the scale of the NBA. This is one of the worst rated seasons ever. You got a Lakers team with LeBron that's going to, again, probably get beat in the second round of the playoffs on the way they were going. And you've got no succession plan here because Luka's in this weird situation in Dallas that doesn't even promote him anymore. So they put their thumbs on the scales. They got their NBA's best young star to its best organization, its most profitable and most marketable organization, because everyone knows with Dolan and the Knicks, that's untenable. So it's to the Lakers. And now we end up where we're at. And as a Laker fan, I'm fucking stoked. Now, as a wider NBA guy, I start to question now, have we seen enough to say Adam Silver ain't good at the gig? He runs a bad outfit. The NBA ratings have plummeted. The midseason tournament's been a disaster. I remember when the Lakers tried to do this trade with Chris Paul in 2008 and pair all these people together, it was denied by the NBA for sake of parity, and they did not like how the deal went down. Adam Silver nowhere near this thing. A little bit of a fascinating, like KG brought up on the show yesterday that NBA 2K would even veto this trade. So for me, that's kind of my big takeaway. I got some respect for Nico. I'm in wait and see mode. If I could get a future for the Mavericks to win this season, I would fucking do it. The Lakers odds shot up. The Mavericks went down somehow. I don't see how this Lakers team plays together. It'll be a blast, but they have to score 140 every night. You got 4 guys on your team that don't play any defense between LeBron, Luka, Austin Reeves, and Dalton Knecht. So good luck. But I mean, I guess you do have 145 points there. So let's get nuts. And then last note is Adam Silver. I've seen enough, my friend. I've heard the talks of moving the 3-point line back. I've heard the talks of 10-minute quarters. I've heard the talks of expanding for more NBA franchises. I don't think any of them are good ideas. I think you've made the NBA unrecognizable. This is just another big blemish in a very checkered NBA commissioner career for me.
Hey, that's a great damn point, because it just doesn't make sense. I just don't, because I get it. The Nico, he wants to win now. In this roster, on paper, Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis, he's at the 4. You got Gafford and Lively, Washington. Like it sounds all good. So who's the 1 on the Mavericks?
It's Kyrie, but it's got to look a little bit more like the Celtics did with their big 3. Now it's obviously of different positions. Paul Pierce was a small forward that was playing a little bully ball.
But I know what you're saying.
And then you had Ray Allen, who's became kind of a 3-and-D guy in that piece. But you got Klay Thompson there, so it's Kyrie swapping for Paul Pierce. And they had Rondo up there, so maybe that's PJ Williams kind of takes the bully ball role, and then you got Rondo working it with Kyrie. I think it works. As far as like a traditionalist basketball fan, I think they've got a really fun 1 through 5. Last time we probably saw this in the NBA was the Suns team that got beaten 6 by the Bucks in the finals, where it was like a traditional great 1 through 5 lineup right there. But defensively, I think they immediately become one of the best teams in the NBA. And offensively, if I'm still going to get AD's 25, and I'm going to get Kyrie's 27, and I'm going to get occasional spurts of 25 from Klay, but I'm going to get 17 from him, and then I've got really good cast of role players, and we're playing great D. That's a team I don't want to play the Mavericks in a 7-game series. That sounds like a nightmare. I like the Mavericks to take on OKC. I like them to take on the T-Wolves. I don't know what team in the West I prefer to the Mavericks lineup right now, unless the Lakers fuck around and go get one of these big-time rim protectors.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, you make great points, but this is my one counter argument. What Kyrie Irving led team has been successful in the NBA?
Well, the answer is 0. The one argument I'd make was the 3-1 comeback where Kyrie hits the game-winning shot and is a bit of a baller in that series.
Oh, 100%. He was 100% essential and crucial. Yeah.
But it is a little bit more in that, you have point forward LeBron getting the ball at the top of the key and directing traffic. He got to just go be a little, run off screens, get the ball, go fucking score, just be a scorer. So very interesting. And honestly, maybe they do make a move for more of a ball-centric one and let Kyrie be a little bit more off ball and be a little bit more of an artist. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, no, because Kyrie Irving's unbelievable. He's an incredible player. I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but I saw this guy command a trade out of Cleveland. He went to the Celtics. I mean, Gordon Hayward snapped his leg and was never the same, so obviously that example isn't the best, but I mean, the team was always shambles, never consistent, never good. They got bounced out of the playoffs, I'm pretty sure both times in the first round, or maybe even missed the playoffs. But I don't know if I remember the Celtics missing the playoffs. But regardless, next team, Nets. I mean, the Nets, another just complete, utter disaster. Obviously, there was a lot of weird political stuff that weighed in and all that stuff, but complete and utter disaster. Came here. He was with Luka. Luka does the mass majority of the, playmaking, facilitating for others. Not that Kyrie can't do it, but that's just not the best part of his game that he brings to the table. It's like
he's never been the guy that's averaging 14 assists.
Yeah, it's like, remember, I think it was last season when the Suns desperately needed a point guard. And it was just putting at like Devin, like trying to run anyone at point guard, but it's just not their position. It's just not what they do. Kyrie Irving's never been a traditional point guard. He's kind of like an Allen Iverson, who's cooking. He's more scoring small guard. So that's my question marks about this Mavericks team. Don't get me wrong. Anthony Davis, especially after getting traded and shipped off like that, like he's gonna be a beast for the rest of the season. But at the end of the... Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, we've said it multiple times on the show. It's rare you watch a game where Anthony Davis is playing and you don't feel like he's the best player on the floor. Now, one example would be when they're playing against fucking Luka. It's obvious who the best player on the floor is. But he will be missed. I loved Anthony Davis.
Yeah, no, 100%. Anthony Davis, Laker for life, absolute legend. I love the guy. He was the brow, man. I mean, his whole career. I mean, I've always been a fan, honestly. But yeah, no, we'll see, because at the end of these playoffs, Jack, we're gonna have a 33-year-old Kyrie, maybe even 34. One or the other. 32-year-old Anthony Davis. This is at the end of the playoffs. Klay Thompson. I'm going to be honest, last year everyone's calling fucking wash and went 0 for 10 in an elimination game, and we all remember what that was. So I'm like, hey, I'll still give him his flowers. I know who he was, so I'll give him, we'll see. Remember, Klay Thompson takes $10 million less to go play with Luka and the Mavs. Luka was a big part, and then now he just gets shipped to the team that he dissed. We'll see.
I don't know.
And then you got
we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. And I will say it's going to be super interesting. And I'm excited for LA. We're going to be good. I don't give a damn what people I don't give a damn what people say. I say we don't even find a center. We're going to find a way. We're going to play weird trapping defense. We're going to be we're going to figure it out. Like I got a lot of confidence in the greatest player of all time, in Luka. What?
We're going to be a very Mike D'Antoni offense, just flying, playing blitz ball, just trying to create turnovers.
That's actually, yeah. Yeah, we're going to figure it out. And for years to come, we're going to have Luka the motherfucking Dom. So it's going to be incredible. I feel bad for the city of Dallas, though. I feel bad. I mean, not only do you have the Cowboys and whatever that's been for the past 30 years, but what was going to be the cornerstone of your franchise. These generational players do not come often. Not the ones that show up rookie year, fucking 18 years old out of Slovenia, 20 points a game. Like this doesn't happen often. So I feel bad for the city of Dallas, and I feel this will blow up someday. Whenever whoever wins the championship first, all I know, Nico Harrison, you're not getting another GM job. I don't think he's getting another GM job after this because this is unbelievable. I can't believe it blows me away. There are talks when Luka was starting his career. We're talking about this guy could be a top 10 player ever.
I'm still comfortable with that. I still think that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. And I'm like,
yeah.
This guy is so, and I don't know if it was ego. It smells like ego, and the guy wanted his own team to me. Like he was making all the moves, and in the offseason, everyone's talking about Luka this, Luka that. And he got over it. Maybe respectfully so, but at some point you got to remember you're the GM. I know you're in charge, but you're not the most important guy to your franchise. I think he thought he was, and he traded Luka. Now, don't get me wrong. I want the Lakers to have more success. What am I talking about? I hope it fails. I hope Luka and everyone over there is great, and I hope the Maverick. No, but we'll see. I think this is a monumentally awful trade from the Dallas Mavericks. But you are right. On paper and how it looks, I mean, they should be able to compete at least this year and the next.
Exactly right. And we got 2 more days of trade deadline, so we'll see where all these chips fall. We'll see what these teams look like, what they're going to be constructed as going into the back half of the NBA season. And then we'll table some college hoops talk for next week, but we are entering the final month there. So we'll get everybody up to date before we hit conference tournaments and Selection Sunday. The big games, be paying attention to the matchups and the teams we think can fuck around and win something, the teams we think that can fuck around and beat somebody, and the absolute frauds and losers we expect to go down in week 1. My absolute greatest dream in life, Lance, is to be the guy with a perfect bracket. Obviously, you remember my dad famously fired for participating in a March Madness bracket in 2002 in Washington. It would be the greatest irony and fulfillment of my life to then be the guy to have the perfect bracket and say, hey, Joey Brackets, you're out of a job, pal. That's my show now. I'm a billionaire and I'm running that show.
Dude, I mean, if you even say you get the first 2 rounds perfect, I mean, that's gotta be as close to the feeling as you can get. I mean,
do you realize what you have to do?
Yeah. I don't know the numbers. Obviously, like you might be able to. Oh wait, you're lagging. You're going in and out. Come back.
I just got you back.
You're good. You're good. Yep.
Yeah. So consider this, right? We've got 32 games in the opening round, and this is after we get the 4 teams in. So you got to sit tight to that Wednesday night to make sure you're seeing the field correctly. Thursday, you got to play 8 games. Thursday, you're playing 16 games. You got to go 16 leg parlay, hit it. Then you got to come back the next day and hit another 16 leg parlay. Then you got to go into the weekend and hit an 8 leg parlay on Saturday and an 8 leg parlay on Sunday. Then you got to come back the following week and fucking keep doing it. It's like the idea.
Yeah.
But the answers are in there. The right answers exist. Someone will do it someday. And it must be me. It's my absolute dream.
Oh my! Anyway. I mean, when you spell it out that way, it's actually even more unbelievable to think about it. Oh my god!
Every year, there's like only 20 people that get through the first day, and those people, I'm like, you went 16-0 today. You fucking! I've not gotten through the first game in like 4 years. It's always an 8-9 game, and I've not gotten through the first game in like 4 years.
That's hilarious.
Got people like Georgetown just letting me down. Really quick, Lance, before we hit our tonight's picks, any change in thoughts at the midweek point, considering Super Bowl here, Chiefs Eagles? Are we holding firm on Chiefs? I had this horrible fear the other day.
Yeah, keep talking to me.
Yeah. Well, obviously, you get 2 weeks of Super Bowl prep, so you get these extended media days and interviews with the players. And 3 separate Chiefs players have come out and been like, "What the fuck's going on? Why do we keep getting asked about the game, like the refs?" Because all of these guys keep peppering them with the refs. And it feels like if you had to do a solid for the NFL community, the refs are going to just rat fuck the Chiefs in this one. And we're going to get a bullshit call for the Eagles. And it's going to be like, finally, they didn't get the call. And it's going to be like, fuck that. Show me the data. So that's my one fear. But again, this is classic overthinking midweek shit. It's the Chiefs. It's always been the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm doing the best I can to keep my head out of it because I know it's Chiefs, stay Chiefs, everything's Chiefs. It's always been Chiefs. We've been talking about it. But that narrative, the historical fucking standpoint, because it's going to be brought up many, many times in the next, like, it already has been, of course, but I'm saying, like, right on that game day, like, the jinx, like, everything. Oh, the three-peat. I mean, when it was perfect season with Tom Brady, I mean, I'm 7 years old. You probably remember better than me going against those Giants. Perfect season. Then the greatest upset in Super Bowl history, and this year,
a little David Tyree, a little Plexico Burris, a little how you doing? Randy Moss dropped that ball.
Yeah.
Last drive, Brady threw a bomb on like second down, which is bizarre for him because he's such a good clock management guy. But Randy Moss dropped that ball. I'm convinced. Anyway, that's that. Hey, we brought up the MLB up thing yesterday. I just wanted to bring up, because I did a little digging into that. This is not good news for the MLB. The home plate umpire that was fired and is now accused of some illegal gambling is the best umpire in baseball. In the most recent World Series, he had a game where he was 100% on balls and strikes called. He had a perfect game from behind plate.
Wow.
MLB's best umpire gone. Tough stuff.
Gone. Because he's a
Doesn't that suck?
dumb shit. This is the perfect out for the MLB to say, all right, fuck the umpires. It's all robotic. We don't need them. Let's, keep the game honest, integrity. Yeah, everyone would vouch. Everyone would be,
These guys' eyes are too good.
Really?
They're too good. So, like, the beauty of balls and strikes, since I've become a baseball fan, I'm all back in on the umpire. You want a guy that can be 100%. But the knowing that it's a human being back there, when you have two strikes and it's a pitch that's just hanging on the outside, but it might clip the plate, you swing. If you know you've got the machine and you know where the hard lines are, then it's a little easier to go ahead and pass on that ball. Oh. If that ball is sitting there and you're like, it's on the gray area, you got to swing as a two-strike hitter. So I think
interesting.
You need that little human element just so you're constantly like, fuck, I got to protect right there. And same for a pitcher who's a guy that's like, all of a sudden, like, there's a little game within the game where it's like, boom, I hit a pitch. I got the strike call on a ball that was a little bit probably outside. Now they pepper it and keep trying to expand the zone and take it out and see how far they can take that strike call. And so that's the great beauty of the battle between hitter and pitcher. And that's the umpire plays a huge role in that. But we just need good ones. We can't have fucking Angel Hernandez and all these guys who just are absolute dog shit. And I'm sorry, he's been out of the league for a year, so I don't know why I just went after Angel Hernandez. But everyone who watches baseball knows what I'm talking about. It's a bummer to have lost this guy.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's brutal. And honestly, now that you bring up that point, that's honestly a great point about the whole games within the game. It's just, and from a casual fan like me, I don't have that I'm not even a casual fan. I just know baseball, but I didn't know any of that part. And you're 100% right. I mean, the sport within the sport.
Yeah. And I think it's the same for all sports. Like we don't need 22 cameras in football following every guy and getting every single call. We'll hate the sport. We'll hate it. Like, part of the game within the game is like, am I going to get called, or can I fucking give a little yank and hold here and see if I get away with it? Transparency for all officiating crews across all major sports leagues, unions for each of them, benefits, decent salaries, off-season training, and then straight up accountability. If you miss, X amount of calls in a game, like, you got to get, like, we demote you or something. There's a standard here. We're asking guys. And then two, I'll throw this into this. If we're going to give them all that, which I believe we should, they have to talk to the media as well. You blow a call, you got to go talk to the media.
Yeah, actually, I don't hate that idea. You got to go sit down and answer questions, and everyone gets
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised they haven't even thought of that early.
The standard is the standard, which bothers us all, but we all just go ahead and accept it. I get pissed every single time I watch a football game because they use the wrong language constantly. Like, when they do reviews, they'll come back on a call that they clearly got right and say stance. Say confirmed if you got it right, and it's obvious you got it right. Stands is the innocent until proven guilty call. Is don't know if we got it right or wrong, but we have to live with the call on the field because there's no indisputable evidence.
I see.
Confirmed. So you got to be good with that language too, because otherwise then it gets a little dicey as well, because it feels like you're giving calls one way or another, and so on and so forth. So it just more transparency, better support for the refs, and then all these things we could get, and we get a game that we're confident there's no conspiracies or rig jobs going on in the back end, and then we ultimately get what we're always after is like the right team wins, which is what happens when you get good officiating.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. Yeah, the NFL one is tough because I'm always thinking like if you just had a chip in the ball, Josh Allen has a first down, and there we might have Bills Eagles Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
But you also make a great point. It's like that's not the game. That's not the game.
It's just not the game.
It's just not the game. The game.
And I think all competitors agree.
Yeah, and if you, especially if they listen to you right now, they would agree. I believe a lot of them would agree with you right now.
Both player, coach, and fan, I have been blessed by great calls and rat fucked by bad calls. My dad lost a game once, Lance. They called a defensive delay of game because they only had 10 men on the field. That is not a penalty. That's not a rule.
That's not real.
They fucked up a sub. They didn't have 12. They had 10. So they get
there's no
penalty on a defensive delay of game. It puts them into field goal range. They get walked off. True story. The ref that made the call wrote my dad a letter that he got the next Monday saying, "I fucked you. I'm so sorry."
That is so.
And this is in 1996 when you're playing 11 games. That's a big fucking deal, man.
Yeah. That's sports.
Talking legacy shit.
That's tough. That's sick. That's sickening. That's sick. I'm ill to my core right now. That's brutal.
Let me throw in one more to salt those wins.
Oh, yeah.
Not that my dad's getting any Hall of Fame votes, but he lies one win outside of being eligible to be in the College Football Hall of Fame. His head coaching record, he is one win below a 60% winning percentage.
Oh.
Brutal.
We got to get him back. We got to get him back in there. Hey, wait. What about Chip going to the Raiders? Any phone calls on that if you're thinking how I'm thinking?
I get nothing. I want Jer Bear desperately, but that's I think he's locked in with the Brew Crew for another year.
All right. Hey, go Bruins. Go Bruins. All right. Well, do you have any other thoughts? Or I was gonna say I just have a 2-team NBA parlay that I'm going with. I got Pacers money line against the Trailblazers. They just went to OT last night against the Suns and won a game they shouldn't have. Yeah. Well, actually, they should have because they deserve it more than their fucking. Yeah, back to back. Pacers have been hot at 1-8 of their last 10.
Sure.
Taking that one. And then the other one, this one's sketchy, but I love it. Cavs money line at home against Celtics.
Love it.
Just.
I think it's the third time or second time they're going to play this year.
I think third. Celtics took the first one.
Game,
yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yep. So that's what. Yeah, I'm going that way, and then what was I was gonna sneak one more. Nope, that's it. You go. You're good.
I got a dog shit NBA pick. I'll just sneak out there. I'm playing the hunch. We watched the Kings go and ball last night. Sports are weird. Dallas 4.5 at Sixers. Why the hell not?
I saw that line and I was like, man, that's just who in their right mind. But hey. Why not?
That's why it works.
Yeah.
That's why it works.
Is Anthony Davis isn't playing yet?
Anthony Davis is debuting on Thursday, I think.
Okay. Man, I'm excited to see the new teams.
Some big-time college hoops plays here. BYU -2.5 versus Arizona. Arizona has yet to be the team we'd think they'd be preseason. Their best wins of the year come on freak show games. It was the Iowa State Huck job. They just got played really tough by Arizona State. And BYU at home, if you've ever watched a BYU home game, they have one of the most electric home court advantages you'll ever see. One, it's the greatest mascot in the history of sports. Two, the place is going absolutely nuts, and they've got like signs and like shit to confuse your eyes going on between the hoops. They're going to be absolutely rolling tonight. I trust the line here, going BYU -2.5. Expect a good game, but I think BYU pulls away late, and we're in that number comfortably. Michigan State +3.5 at UCLA. Classic. UCLA and USC have been getting fucked all year on whoever has to play the road team second. These teams come in and they don't even have to exchange hotels because obviously between down USC and UCLA's campus, we're talking about 7 miles. So they don't have to move hotels. They do that. They get 3 days of a LA vacation, and then after they play USC, they play UCLA and they're out, or they play UCLA and then USC. Whoever's had to play the second game has getting boned left and right. USC just upset Michigan State the other night. Now they're getting 3.5 tonight at UCLA, and they've been a really good team all year. So like Michigan State with the points, I don't think this feels like an away game to them tonight. I think they're playing loose and having fun. Kentucky +5 at Ole Miss. I don't know who's winning this game. That feels just like way too much for this Kentucky team. Was tempted to trust the line and roll with the Rebs, but Kentucky's coming off getting beat at home to Calipari and Arkansas, so I think they bounce back and at least play tough tonight. 5 feels like way too many. I'd stay away. I'm not going to be on the Rebs, but I trust the Kentucky guys. I've been watching this team all year. I think they go play tough, possibly even win outright tonight. USC +2.5 at Northwestern. At Northwestern's a tough place to play. USC's finally got it rolling, and they're dialed in, and they're in kind of this weird stretch where they're kind of last 4 in territory right now. These are big-time wins they need to have down the stretch. When you play good teams on the road that are gettable, you have to take advantage of these and get these big-time like quad 2 and quad 1 wins. So I think USC plays great tonight. I expect them to win outright, and they're getting 2.5 points. So those are the picks, Lanny.
I like them. The one I'm only, and it's got to do with just because of my former yeah, I'm like, man, that one. But if anything, I'd just stay away before I bet on it, because if you like BYU and you've been good at college hoops, I'm not taking that away from you. So that's why I'm like, maybe I just stay away from that one. But the Michigan State one, that one I love, and the other two I don't know that much. But go ahead.
Arizona's had the big win, so I think regardless they're going to the tournament, but not the best record. So not a game they can fuck around. They're playing tough tonight.
No,
I think BYU at home's a hell of a team. I think Arizona's just not that good this year.
I agree with all of what you just said.
Caleb Love
is the most overrated
after his freshman year at North Carolina, and since then, every year he's just fallen 20 more spots into the draft to the point now I don't think he gets taken.
No, I don't think he gets taken either. And you're 100% right. That guy is just jacks. He just hucks it. He just throws up shots whenever. And it's kind of always felt like it's his team in a sense after he was the man in that March Madness run freshman year at UNC. So I don't know. I mean, and you're 100% right. I know BYU's football stadium is fucking rowdy, so I can't imagine what their basketball gym. I can't imagine it's much different. And
the boys and girls of Provo go absolutely off.
Yeah, and the Michigan State, I mean, the theory with the UCLA, USC, I 100% buy it. I 100% buy it. You have me, I'm wailing on that one.
Love it.
So, yeah, I like where we are. Good work.
Well, good deal. I'm outroing this thing. Great podcast today. This was the Wanna Parlay podcast, the official podcast and home of all things Wanna Parlay, granddaddy of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay. The platform that makes parlays for the working American man, because that's what we are and that's what we care about. Thanks to nobody for coming on the show today. I texted 5 of you fuckers. No one wanted to get back to me. That's fine. We'll circle back on Thursday and see if we can't rally some troops to come on the show and have a little bit of fun with us. Some special shout outs worth going back through the gang here and making sure everyone's celebrating, taken care of. Fats 312 backing at him with 200. Dial picks. Huge night last night. Made over $1,000. Good to be good. D. Garibaldo wins himself 500. And Cicero Rocky 3x9, 700 coming in second place in the pick 7. Dial picks wins that thing, by the way. I just didn't want to rub that more on anyone's face. Wills wins the Parlay Royale to win $1,000, and Apex Bets is off to a super hot start in the main event. Currently occupies first through third. Having said that, it's just a 38.15 multiplier, so this race is still very much wide open. If I was anybody but Lantz or I who can't legally play on the platform, I would be racing over there to place about 20 to 40 bets. That's me, though. Bit of a sicko. Anyway. Quick reminder, we are rapidly approaching the drop takeover at Little Joe's on February 10th. Be there to join KG Art and Bob, as well as the good folks of Wanna Parlay, and their Hermano Tequila Company, El Bandito Yankee. Again, that is February 10th, 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. And then a last reminder before we let you go, a new contest is currently open on Wanna, the Super Bowl Drip Contest. It is 100% free to play. The winner gets an authentic NFL jersey of their choice, a little custom job there, a value of over $150. That contest is open now, and it will remain open until February 9th, which is, of course, Super Bowl Sunday. Once again, that is 100% free to play and enter. Lance, that was it, babe. Take us out.
All right, chat, KG, James, all the regulars. We appreciate you guys showing up, showing out. We'll be back Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you tune in, and we will see you then. All right. Peace.
Quit.